Alright, Schlockmeister fans, a classic horror from the late 80s. Night of the Creeps. Let's watch. Our film starts in outer space. And there is a little alien carrying a canister. The guy's chasing him so that experiment cannot get off this ship, but that little guy got rid of that canister. And guess where it's headed? It heads to 1959.
Hello, Ray.
Detective Ray Cameron. And that's his girl with somebody else.
Let's go home, man.
Speaking of that canister, there it is. Dude goes to check out the canister and some sort of worm-like slug got in his mouth. Meanwhile, an axe-wielding maniac has escaped and is killing people. Fast forward 27 years. Chris and JC, and he wants Cynthia.
I hate the betas. Look, do you want to meet her or what?
Let me get this straight. You guys want to pledge the betas?
They want to meet the babes. Cynthia apparently is dating the leader, Brad. Meanwhile, they're sending the boys out on some sort of hazing ritual to see if they can do it. They can join the fraternity. They were instructed to grab a dead body from somewhere
What? The cops?
and put it on this fraternity campus or something.
Our stupid mission is to find a cadaver and dump it on the front steps of the POG house. Now, this guy's obviously part of some experiment.
Well, they do get a hold of the body, but when the body moves, they drop it and run out of there screaming like banshees. Ray Cameron, Tom Atkins, the way he looks now, is having a dream remembering coming across that axe-wielding maniac from years earlier.
Technician, who's scheduled to work here this evening? Looks like we worked a little too hard, huh? I suppose Rick Van Winkle will be the other body. Where is it?
The other body isn't here, sir.
That have been dead for 27 years. Do not get up and go for a walk by themselves.
Cynthia in her room. So the fraternity automatically assumes that Chris and JC did this.
Brat Skeller. A, that whole stunt was your Nobel Prize winning idea, and B, we didn't even pull it off. We chickened out, okay? So why don't you just get off our case and go practice goose stepping or something? And then we chickened out and ran away at 40 miles an hour.
Screaming like banshees? Screaming like banshees.
Back in the sorority, this girl goes to find her cat. Has changed a bit. Cynthia goes to the boys for support
I didn't know who else to come and talk to about it.
after the cat situation.
I do understand. We do understand.
She's not fond of Brad now. So JC leaves Chris with Cynthia, goes to take a dump, and the janitor who had been turned into one of those things now has worms coming out of his head. Apparently 27 years earlier,
I buried him in a vacant lot.
he killed that axe-wielding maniac.
Right behind your girlfriend's sorority. Of course, it isn't a vacant lot anymore.
And now that axe murderer has come back to life. Cameron recognizes the guy, shoots him again, and a bunch of those worm-like slugs come out of him. Chris finds a note or tape from JC.
Got it through my mouth. I can feel it. It's in my brain.
JC learned that those things don't like fire. You can burn them. So he decided to kill himself down by the incinerator.
Did you see that thing?
The Bradster.
Let's go.
So all the frat boys are heading to this big party. They're going to pick up the sorority sisters first, but they crash. And they all are dead and turn into those zombie things.
Good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
And now they're setting out to eradicate everyone they can.
Dude.
Meanwhile, Cameron was cleaning up in the house. They found the nest of those slug worm things in the basement. And there's a lot of them.
Detective, thrill me.
Could Cameron have possibly survived his sacrificing himself to kill those things? Guess not. And where did those worms scurry to? Alright, let's talk about Night of the Creeps. Came out in 1986. Saw it on, I don't know if I rented this or I saw it on cable. I remember the first time I watched it though. In fact, I think I was watching it with my Schlockmeister brother Jeff at the time, and we both loved it. This is a fantastic film. It's one of the better horror movies from the second half of the 80s decade. Just a great film. There's this alien canister that comes from space, crashes in 1959, and basically kind of resurrects itself 27 years later during Pledge Week in 1986 at this college campus. There's these worm-like things that are inside the creatures, or actually not the creature, that goes inside the human bodies. There was like this cryogenic body from 1959 that apparently had some of these worms in it. When they unfroze the body, which was supposed to be like a pledge prank, the worms got out and they started attacking people. The worms get inside the bodies of new people, and then those people kind of become zombies. If you kill them, the worms come out, these big slug-like things, and they just scurry around and find somebody else to go into. And they turn somebody else into a zombie. Rinse and repeat. That's what happens here. Well, there's a subplot here where Detective Cameron, played by Tommy Atkins, 27 years earlier, he had killed this axe-wielding murderer guy. But instead of reporting it, he just buried him in the backyard. And it's now the house mother's cottage rests on top of it at this sorority. We basically followed the story of Chris, played by Jason Lively. You might remember him from European Vacation, and his friend JC, who's got some sort of disease or something where he walks around on those like arm crutches things. Chris is actually after this girl played by Jill Whitlow, Cynthia. There's kind of a love thing there going on. Ultimately, though, it's just a horror movie where these creatures are going from body to body. Tom Atkins eventually is on this case, too. They figure out what's going on. They find out the only way to kill these things is to burn them. So if you shoot them in the head, all these creatures pop out, and then you can like use a flamethrower to douse them and kill them. That's what happens. Ultimately, looks like they've killed just about all of them, except they find a nest of these worm things in the basement of the sorority house. Atkins decides he's going to kill himself and blow them up in the process. Has gasoline all over the place, says, thrill me. Actually, he doesn't say, Jason Lively said at that time, and he blew up the whole thing, and then presumably got them all, but then he wandered out, all burnt to a crisp, and then when he collapsed, some of the more slugs came out, ran into a graveyard where presumably they're going to go into some dead bodies, and it all starts over again. Anyway, that's it. Again, great horror movie. I'm sure everybody's seen this movie. I don't need to say much more about it. A couple of nude scenes in here, including from Jill Whitlow. I think it's her only nude scene she ever did, actually. And some very quotable lines. Thrill me, screaming like banshees, and of course the tagline, the good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. I showed you that scene as well. So anyway, this movie was put on Blu-ray. This is a pretty cheap Blu-ray. Actually, this one you can get for $5-10 or so. I'll leave a link to Amazon down below. It does have some extras on here, some commentary and such. I believe Shout Factory also put out a Blu-ray, which may be a little more involved. I'm not sure, but it's all good either way. It's a fantastic movie, a great movie. I like it, and you will too. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. You know what? If you haven't seen it, click the link below and buy the cheap Blu-ray on Amazon that I have linked down below there. It's that cool. So check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Night of the Creeps. Watch it. Bye.